Hi, friends. This is Sunil Chandy, and you're on Food for Thought again. Thank you for being with us. It is our daily program that comes out of Christ Episcopal Church, and I want to thank you for being with us. But I ask you just to say hello. Tell us that you're here. Hi, Marsha. How are you doing? Hi. And she says hello to everyone. And Jen, how are you doing? Hello. And Natalie, good afternoon. Thank you, Natalie, for being here. All of those folks that you saw are top fans, and Mary's also a top fan, I think, and she's been watching so much and supporting us through just watching and being a part of this. And I think there are many others who are watching us as well. Dorothy, I think, Dorothy Adams is watching us, and she's watching us because today we will have a wonderful guest, one that you already know much about. She is our Christian education director, and that is Kristy Allardyce. And she will be talking with us about her ministry, about what she has learned over the past 3 months as we have engaged in this in the work of ministry at Christ Church through this challenging situation. You know, I was thinking the other day that I was looking at the old Food for Thought episodes that we have, and I noticed the back of my my room. The back of my room was dark before. It was like empty. It was just the walls are colored olive, and I had nothing back there because usually, this is a little office that I have in my house. And we kind of constructed it to just deal with the situations. Anytime I needed to do my work, I have a desk here at home, and and my files and so forth. But it's a bare. It was really a very bare room because most of the time I found I spent most of my time at church. My office at church is fully decorated with all my pictures and all the pictures of the kids and Simi and my mother and my siblings, everyone that I really love. And so that office room was well decorated. But as I was noticing these Food for Thought videos, I noticed that I didn't have this room at all decorated. And although my wife has been at me to say, hey, look, we need to make sure that you have that room clean, for one thing, because the camera captures everything. And the second thing is we need to put some pictures up there. And so you'll see some pictures of my family there, Alex, Philip, and Daniel, and Simi. You'll see old pictures on top of the bookshelf. You'll see when they were very small. You'll see, eventually I'll put up some of my degrees up here too. But I bring that up not because the decorating is anything really significant. It is significant, but it isn't anything that I do really well. But I bring it up because I'm adapting. I'm adapting to the present circumstance. I'm working from home. Last 3 months, I've been working from home. It had been a difficult transition for me, but I'm adapting, and I'm making the situation work. And I think that's a faith stance. I think it calls us to have faith, to understand that the things that we might not, that the things that we want might not happen very quickly. But in the meanwhile, what we do is we deal with the present circumstance, and we adjust our behavior, and we adjust our thinking, we adjust our hopes with the idea of being as successful as we can and managing the situation as we can to do the most good that we can. I think that is what God is calling us at this particular time to do, especially as we deal with this challenging situation across the nation and across the globe. The idea of adapting to the situation and not worrying about what we can't have, but rather what we actually focusing our attention on what we must do at the moment. Part of what I must do at the moment is stay at home and do these programs here, so I make my life bearable and maybe even enjoyable. I put up my pictures, I put up my books, and I make this office, conducive for my work. When we go out into the world, I have to wear a mask because I don't want to pass on anything, and I don't want to get anything from anyone either. So you wear the mask, and you don't argue about it, because at the end of the day, it's really for the protection of all of humanity, that the humanity that we have around us. We adjust, we adapt. I think that's what we're called to do as Christians. The guest that we have on today, Kristy, has adapted a great deal and adapted our Sunday school program as our church has adapted to the present moment and the needs of our moment. And so, Dave, I asked you to bring Kristy Allardyce on board. Hi, Kristy, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm well.
Oh, I'm doing great, and you look great. You look happy, right? This is beautiful. Yeah. So, we have staff meetings every Monday. We have a wonderful staff, and those meetings are amazing. And I'll tell you, we've been through a lot of different changes. So, tell me what you've learned. How is it? What have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about the world? And how have we adapted to the situation, especially in Sunday school?
Well, I think the Sunday school teachers have done a really great job of adapting and reaching out to the kids to make sure that we have stayed connected and kept the kids feeling that we still care about them and that we're here for them. Our teachers have done it in different ways. We've had one of our classes has worked through Zooming, and the other has used Facebook as the platform. Initially, we started by creating bags for the kids to come and collect to do sort of at-home activities. In the beginning of all of this, we didn't really know that much about COVID or what the procedures were or how it was transmitted or could be transmitted. So we were, packing up materials and projects and leaving them for people to pick up. And then that became sort of more difficult and less recommended. So it sort of morphed into more video lessons. The teachers were doing, modeling the activities, reading stories, doing little videos and songs and things online, which were really well received by the kids. And then the other class was doing Zooming, which was great. We had one family who was overseas, and they were working with us and coming to the classes, which was really kind of nice to see.
Yeah.
And then, as the kids were all doing Zoom on school or online schooling, I just was feeling that this was kind of becoming sort of tiresome.
Yeah.
I was being faced with the question of what to do about VBS. Vacation Bible School is one of our big, exciting events that we do every year for Christ Church. It's a fundraiser.
We have over like 100 kids come to this thing, and it's just
between the kids and the kids that are participating, and it's a great event. It requires a lot of planning, and the planning starts well in advance of the activity itself. So a decision had to be made pretty early on when we really still didn't know exactly what the numbers of people available to do things were, what size we could do, what our limitations were going to be. So we made the decision to cancel for this year, which was the right decision. And that's the decision that most churches made in this area. because doing an online VBS was just not, I mean, the fun of it is getting together and doing the activities together. And, you know, as I said, the kids are sitting in front of screens too much. And in the summer, no one wants to do that.
Right.
So we decided to the one class, Allison Patton and Lisa Ornberger and Dana Pankera are still doing their Facebook lessons, which are great and they're really fun. And they're on a Facebook page, Christ Church Pre-K to second grade is their Facebook page. And that's an open group. Anyone can go on and watch their lessons. But we decided that we would do Sunday school in the park. So we do that every other week. We just did it this past week, and we'll do another one, not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. And anyone is welcome to join us. It's at 9:00 in the morning. We meet at the gazebo. We do a lesson. We read from the Sunday Paper Junior, which follows the gospel reading for the day. And we do an activity that also follows the gospel. So this past week, we planted seeds. And they're forget-me-not seeds, so that as they grow, the children will know that, you know, God is always with them and doesn't forget them. And they decorated their pots, and so, you know, it's fun. It's just a great way for the kids to see each other, and we all socially distance, and the teachers wear their masks, and some of the kids wear their masks. So.
Yeah. I remember being at I think the first one, and it was fun. It was great. It was good seeing the kids too, and they seemed to. I mean, it was about 15 to 20 kids, I think, and it was just and they were all just in a circle, and it was joyful.
Yeah, it's really fun. The last time we met, the kids drew what when they thought of God, what did God represent to them, and they drew a sidewalk chalk all over the sidewalk in the park, and it was great, and people were stopping and looking, and you know, that was kind of neat to see as well. So it's just been a great way for the kids to see each other and see the teachers and connect with one another. So we do that every other week throughout the summer. And at this point, you know, we don't know when church is going to be opening up again, when Sunday school will be able to start, but we'll continue that through the nice weather anyway. We'll meet in the park.
You know, I was just thinking at the very beginning, I opened up with this idea about adapting to our present circumstance. And that's what you're doing. I mean, part of adapting is kind of looking at the reality in front of you, not with wishful thinking, but looking at the reality in front of you, and then putting in a process to kind of engage people to think of where we could move forward, how we could move forward. Yeah. And so the first time I remember, like, you know, I mean, your job description changed. I mean, Sunday school on Sunday, right? With kids, right? Now, all of a sudden, you had to pivot, you know, and you did everything online. And then as you assessed online, how is it working? How are the kids getting engaged? They like it? Is the novelty wearing off? And then you've switched over to like an in-person type of thing or a hybrid. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. And the kids really like it. So so that's been really fun and nice to see. And, you know, some people go away in the summer, so our group changes each time, but it's really well received. So.
Well, I mean, you are an inspiration to all those Sunday school teachers and to the Sunday school kids. And I know there's a really wonderful community of teachers, and with Natalie Pukas as kind of like the overall director kind of on the vestry point of view, it's just all of you are working really wonderfully together, and it's beautiful to see.
Well, we're actually looking for some Sunday school teachers. We're hoping, you know, I'm not sure when we're going to open as a church, but we have a class that we would like to find a teacher for. That's a middle school 6th and 7th grade, 5th, 6th and 7th grade class that we'd like to find a teacher for. So if there's anyone in the congregation that feels a calling for that, you know, contact me.
Right, and it's part of it is just having a heart to pass on the message of God to kids. I mean,
and I'll give you the message to pass on.
That's right. That's right. So you've done really wonderful with the Sunday school and with the Sunday school teachers. but there are other aspects of this time that have allowed you to adapt. And what other insights you might have you had?
Well, so I've had the opportunity through the pandemic to Christ Church has participated with the police department and URI in delivering meals on Fridays, which has just ended. In the end of June was our final meal. We delivered meals to people who requested them on Fridays, and through that, I was really great. It was great to be able to touch base with primarily older people who just needed, a little extra meal, and they were delicious looking meals from URI. And I had the same route every week from our church. It was Tammy Dunlap, Sarah Starkweather, and myself who delivered meals. And you had the same people each week, so you kind of got to know them, and you would sort of stand outside their door with your mask on and just chat for a little while, and it was really nice. You just kind of developed a relationship, and there was one older man who Ed Ligori, who I call Pa, and he's just the greatest man. And one time I was delivering meals to him, and I usually bring Sadie, my little dog, and I left her in the car while I went to deliver his meal, and she managed to lock the doors in the car while I was delivering the meals.
That little dog is smart.
Yeah. So I was there for a while. Luckily, I had my phone, so I called someone to come and unlock the car for me. Just as they came to unlock the car, she managed to unlock the car. So, but anyway, so he and I were visiting for a really long time that day. And each week we visited for a while. He always gave me chocolates, and we've just developed a relationship. So now that we no longer drop off food, he and I have a standing date on Friday mornings for coffee, and he makes me waffles, and we just visit, and he shows me pictures, and I bring pictures of my kids, and we just talk. And so that's been a really nice benefit, I guess, of the pandemic, is just kind of making a new friend, and it felt good to be able to volunteer in that way.
Well, I think our program here is called Food for Thought, right? And it's so Marcia says thank you for all the meals delivered. And by the way, the meals, how many? It was about 500 meals, right? Wasn't it?
There were a lot of meals.
Yeah,
there were a lot of meals. And some of them were to parishioners. There was one of my ladies who was so sweet. She gave me a beautiful little plant at the end, and she was she's a member of Christ Church, although she hasn't been able to come in some time. She's just not able to get to church, but she loves Christ Church, and so
what I was thinking about it, this is food for thought, and food for thought is really, it really is the idea about connecting with people. And I think that story with Ed Ligori, I mean, it's a story about connection. I mean, people. I think the food was great. I'm sure it was delicious, and it was satisfying, and it's important to get food for everyone. But more than anything else, people are lonely at home.
yeah.
They're lonely. They're isolated, and so this offers a way. I mean, this is beautiful, Kristy. You're connecting with someone who needed some human contact.
Yeah.
And that's food for the soul,
Yeah.
and that's how we bring out the light of Christ to the world around us. We make the world a better place. You're doing that right now.
Well, and it fed my soul as well, because, it was during a time when I wasn't seeing people either, except, my beautiful kids. But, we were all kind of penned up. So my Fridays of delivering meals was my time to get out and see people. So, even though it was just another person with a mask, it was making that connection and seeing them smile with their eyes, and knowing that I was making their day a little brighter. So.
You remind me that that when we think we're doing outreach work, we're actually doing work for ourselves, for feeding our souls.
Yeah.
And actually, when we offer aid to someone, in the end, the person that's really being helped is us.
Absolutely.
You know, I know many times when I go to the hospital or go to a particular person's house or do one type of ministry or the other, you know, pre-COVID, that is, right? Um, every time I extend myself, I think of myself, oh my God, I got to do this, right? But then I find that once I'm there, I'm like so richly blessed.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you're walking on the presence of in the presence of God, and you know, there's this saying that Moses, when he was walking near the burning bush, God said, "Take off your sandals. This is holy ground." I feel like that sometimes, many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that I've had the opportunity to do is again, Tammy Dunlap does Meals on Wheels. She delivers for Meals on Wheels. And I've been helping her with that so that when she is not available to do that, I can sub for her. And you know, you're right. When that's more than just delivering meals, that's checking in and being a person who can be there for these people who aren't, some of them, able to get out and see other people. And it just makes you feel really grateful for what you have and appreciate what you have. And you know, I have so much, and I'm so lucky. And you know, I have parents who are healthy and who have so much. And I'm I just, it makes me, it reminds me of how blessed I am. And I think that that's, you know, one of the most important things. And I feel very fortunate that even as a young child, you know, teenager, my parents really instilled in me the importance of volunteering and giving back. And, you know, I think that's, I don't think I've done that great of a job of instilling that to my kids
No,
necessarily,
oh,
but
no.
I hope that, you know, at least by example, that they see it. And because I do feel like that's one of the greatest gifts I've gotten is the like you were saying, the inward joy of what comes from volunteering. You know, even my, I mean, I guess it is a job, right? That's what I do for Christ Church, but it's sometimes it feels a little bit like volunteering sometimes, but it is a job. And so
You know what?
it's
I
a
think,
passion, and that's what volunteering is a passion, and should be. And it is so rewarding.
yeah. See, Kristy, you could have done anything else in the world, but you chose to be in the church, and that's the when you get to do when your work is what you love. That's all. That's gold. I mean, and
Yeah.
same thing with me. I first degree was pharmacy. I was in pharmaceutical chemistry. I was going to go into a totally different field, you know. But and even though that field was great, this is where I feel the joy, and I'm so glad I'm here, you know. And by the way, I saw pictures of your kids, and oh, they look so wonderful. They're so beautiful. They're growing up like crazy.
No, they are. They're wonderful. I know and they're all getting ready to go to school. Their schools are all taking them, and they all leave the same day in August. So it's going to be a little bit of
Adjustment.
a puzzle. But yeah, I know I'm going to be an empty nester for a little while. So
I know the feeling. We know the feeling too.
yeah.
Well, you know, Kristy,
Chase's hair.
what's that?
Did you see Chase's hair?
I know. Well, he's got this really great curly hair. It's good, you know. You know, the things with the kids nowadays, they're all about the beards. I don't know. But
Hopefully we'll go there.
yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah. But Kristy, I'm grateful that you're here. You're a blessing. You bring sunshine and joy to our lives, staff, and then also in our church. And I'm so glad that you're a part of our staff and that you're a part of our world and fill it with light.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again for being on board here today.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you. Folks, again, another example of just a wonderful example of our staff, people on our staff, the people that we have in our church, people like you all, people who are committed to the light of Christ and committed to doing good in the world and connecting with people. The more we connect with people, the more we adapt to our situation, the more we have faith that in this situation we have something valid and good to offer, the better the world will be, because the world will take what we offer, what God offers to us, and will use it to spread light and joy. Again, friends, before we leave, we'll say a prayer, our final prayer for this time. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Jesus Christ, you traveled through towns and villages, curing every disease and illness. At your command, the sick were made well. Come to our aid now in the midst of the global spread of the coronavirus. Heal those who are sick with the virus. May they regain their strength and health through quality medical care. Heal us from our fear, which prevents nations from working together and neighbors from helping one another. Be present with those in authority who are making hard decisions. Support the medical professionals, emergency responders, teachers and students, Sunday school teachers and their students, and our caregivers. In your name, Jesus, we pray. Amen. Join with me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Friends, go and spread the light of Christ in the world. The world needs it right now. Thank you.